right off the get-go.
And we are live on the Bullpen Podcast. Welcome into the show. We are happy to talk to you tonight on a Wednesday evening. If you are joining us live, welcome. If you're listening to the podcast after the fact, welcome as well. Please rate, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the fun places that you listen to your shows. I am Chris Krogman at ShyBears1985 on Twitter. Follow me and my co-host Adam Kunos at Kunos19. And head on over to Fanatics to grab all of your Mother's Day Authentic Hats. Mother's Day coming up May 8th. We will give you one more reminder next week so you don't forget your mom. Adam, what's going on, man? You're wearing the Retro Sox hat. I love it.
Yeah, winning ugly, which is kind of half of what the White Sox have been doing. They've been playing like shit the last week. They finally edged out a win against Kansas City of all teams, but
that's a tough team to beat.
The division is not the same division as last year. This is not going to be a cakewalk for the White Sox. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting year, but thank God they won. I'm just going to say it. Thank God they won.
You know, the team that I am impressed with is the Guardians. And I think, like you said, the AL Central is not going to be the same team it was, and Cleveland's still under 500, but they do have the same record as the White Sox. They have the best run differential in the division. Minnesota currently leads the division, one game over 500. So I think that at least it's starting out good. The team that's not doing as well as I thought they would is Detroit, and I don't know, man. I mean, it's just too cold in Detroit still. It's just weird. They're just trash. So yeah, it was a good last weekend of baseball. We had some great series over the past weekend, over the past week. Baseball is pretty hot and heavy for these probably all year. I haven't checked the schedule for the entire year, but teams are having a lot more 4-game schedules. We're seeing a lot of, playing 6 days a week because of the shortened season, essentially, and it makes for a good time. What do you think about the amount of baseball we're getting, Adam?
The amount of baseball is just absolutely fabulous. We've also had a ridiculous amount of postponements due to weather. Some games have been snowed out. We've got rainouts. We got games being played in sub-freezing temperatures right now. I mean, the game in Chicago was moved up to an afternoon game because they were predicting cold temperatures on the south side of Chicago tonight. So, but this is just baseball. We're going. I mean, we hit the ground running, and we're not going to stop until October.
Definitely not. And I think it's great. The interesting thing to me is that the amount of home runs this year are historically low. Amount of strikeouts, I believe, are down as well. So it's just weird. Like, teams aren't hitting the long ball as much, but they also aren't striking out as much. So it's a fascinating year so far. And I think, I'd hate to say that teams are still, getting into the swing of things. And there are some teams that are performing better than they did the first couple of weeks of the season. But if you're not ready to go yet, you need to get ready to go. So my man's drinking my favorite Mountain Dew ever. Is that Livewire?
No, this is a Major Melon.
Man, that looks like the Livewire. Shit was so good.
Livewire back in high school when that came out. Oh my god, I was spending like $5 a week on this Mountain Dew when they put that in the Pepsi vending machines at our school.
Whew. They had I think Code Red is the first like alt Mountain Dew that came out, and then they came out with all kinds of other Mountain Dews. Whew, man.
Oh yeah.
And then of course you got Taco Bell with their Mountain Dew exclusive flavors. The Mountain Blast and the whatever else Taco Bell's rocking, but I can't eat Taco Bell. First off, because that stuff's gross. It'll kill your stomach. And second off, because they don't understand that a drive-through is not meant to be like, I don't know, a parking lot. It takes forever to get through the Taco Bell drive-through. And I don't know if it's same down there in Florida. I don't even know if you'll have Taco Bell, but I'm just going to assume you do. Either way, fuck Taco Bell.
I mean, I could do Taco Bell when I was in high school. Not anymore. I'll eat Taco Bell once in a while, but I won't eat like every single day like I could in high school.
Oh yeah, dude. Dollar menu, man. They had one of the best dollar menus for a long time. You like bean burritos for like 59 cents. I mean, if you like beans and cheese, which I ain't got no problem with that shit. Anyway, onward and definitely upward from the Taco Bell conversation. We're going to recap last weekend. We're going to talk about some fun historical events that happened. We have a new City Connect jersey release that we'll talk about tonight. Talk about some other ongoings on the baseball diamond. Adam and I will rant at various teams because some people need to be put in their place. So, last weekend, we had the Red Sox facing off against the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays took 2 out of 3. Adam drew up the notes, so I didn't double check his work, but he said I took the Red Sox 2 out of 3, and he took the Rays 2 out of 3. Whether or not that's accurate is you guys can go back and listen to the show, but I doubt my man's lying. I apparently just sucked this week because I picked very poorly, unless I picked exactly what Adam did. So, Red Sox took 2 out of 3. They are currently second to last in the American League East. They have a 7-11 record. That's just a .389 win percentage. Expected win-loss is 8-10, so they suck ass no matter how you cut it. Run differential of -11. Adam, do you think the Red Sox should be concerned yet?
No, I don't think the Red Sox should be concerned. I mean, I don't want to play the card saying that it's still too early in the season. I mean, we're going to get to a point in April where it's not going to be early in the season anymore. First series against Tampa, I wouldn't be too concerned. They're going to be playing Tampa a lot more this year. They're going to be playing them at Fenway. Then they'll obviously travel back and forth between Florida and Massachusetts. I wouldn't be too worried if I was Boston. Now, if this was May, like end of May, yes, I would be getting worried about production against one of your top AL East rivals, who have been at the top of the division for the last 3 years or close to the top. Still early. I'm not panicking.
The Red Sox won on Friday 3-4, then lost Saturday in a close one 3-2, lost Sunday 5-2. So not big scoring games, but you got to score to win. The Red Sox have a solid offense. Their pitching is a little suspect. But moving on to series number 2, the Toronto Blue Jays versus the Houston Astros. Blue Jays took 2 out of 3. And this is why I question Adam right here, because your boy picked Toronto to be the AL representative in the World Series this year. And Adam says that I picked against them and picked the Astros.
I am going to double check that.
I know I did. We don't need to. It's just one series, right? So Adam picked the Blue Jays. I picked the Trastros because I'm a dumbass and I bag on teams all year and then I pick them to win. And this is why I'm a losing bettor, everyone. But that's also changing. So Blue Jays took 2 out of 3. They are leading the American League East at 12-6, 7-3 over their last 10, plus 8 run differential. Expected win-loss is 10-8, so they are outperforming their metrics. They are currently playing the Red Sox in a series right now. The Trastros are 4th in the American League West at 8-9, 1 game under 500, but that division's not that bad. Considering they're 4th and only 1 game under 500. Seattle leading that division, followed by the Angels and Oakland putting up an impressive showing. Houston, do we have a problem?
I would actually be a little concerned if I was Houston. I mean, you have a lot of expectations coming this season. You lost Carlos Correa in the offseason. So you're still expected to be that top contender in the AL West. You're defending American League champions. I mean, your run differential right now is -8. You just lost 2 out of 3 to the Blue Jays. You're in a pretty good division now with Seattle going to be competitive. The Angels were off to a good start. They're sitting at 11-7, a couple games over, run differential +13. Oakland, I wouldn't be too worried about Oakland. They're at a 500 team right now, which is a +3 run differential. And then you're ahead of Texas, who's 6-11, run differential of -7. They're 4-6 in their last 10. I would start to get a little worried about Houston because you've already lost a series to Seattle. You've already faced Seattle and lost a series to them. You're now looking up already 3 games behind Seattle early on in the year in that division. I would be a little worried about Houston. I would not going to say abort mission and try to get back safe and sound with everyone on the ship. But I would start to get worried. If you can't pick this up come middle of May and you're still under 500, if you dip below 10 games under 500 going into May, I would start to panic a little more.
For sure. I mean, they opened the season with a 3 out of 4 game series win over the Angels, but then lost a series to the Angels later in April. Lost 2 out of 3 to Toronto, like we just talked about. Won on Sunday 8-7. Lost the other 2 games by 1 run. So Houston isn't losing in dramatic fashion. They're not getting, the break speed off of them like other teams have been. But their offense just isn't producing the way you would think it would. It's only middle of the pack, almost bottom third, considering, their runs created and things like that. So Houston might have a problem, but their City Connect jerseys are still super dope.
The City Connectors are dope, and I'm looking ahead at their schedule. They're facing Texas right now. Then they got Toronto, and then they got Seattle coming into town. Then they got a 4-game series with Detroit. So they got a pretty tough schedule looking at Texas, Toronto, Seattle, Detroit. That's a pretty brutal schedule. I mean, they're playing straight until May 9th is when their next off day is. So that's a pretty tough stretch right there.
Indeed. Switching over to the National League, we had a series in the National League West. Dodgers versus the Padres. Both Adam and I picked the Dodgers. Which again, are you sure about them? I swear you had the Padres.
I think I picked the I thought I had the Dodgers.
That's fine. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We'll track these someday, and then we'll really make fun of ourselves.
There you go.
So Dodgers took 2 out of 3. They won on Friday and Sunday, so they split or they sandwiched the Padres, and then only lost by a run on Saturday. They beat the shit out of them on Sunday, 10-2, and the Friday win was 6-1. So Dodgers are looking mighty fine. They are second in the National League West, though, with the Giants storming, leading that. But the Dodgers are 12-6, 6-4 in their last 10. They are underperforming a little bit as their expected win-loss is 14-4. They do have a plus 44 run differential, which is absolutely ridiculous. It is second only to the Giants at plus 45 in the National League and in all of baseball. In fact, they are light years ahead of the next team. Well, 10 runs, which is still pretty significant ahead of the Mets in the East. Adam, do you think we're going to have just another fantastic race in the National League West with the Padres being 11-7 and a plus 9 run differential, losing 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers, but that's a great division. Even the Rockies are battling.
I think the NL West is going to kind of repeat last year. I mean, My only hope with the NL West is that the Padres keep up with the Giants and Dodgers this year. I want them to keep pace with them. I want them to go toe for toe each series. I want them to stay at least no more than 3 games behind both teams for that division, and avoid what happened last year. They have to avoid that collapse like they had last year, and we talked about that. They were securing that second wild card spot last year, going in late in the season, and they had an epic collapse, which led to a manager change, which led to some more acquisitions in the offseason, kind of retooling their ball club. So, but San Francisco, I mean, they surprised everyone last year by getting off to a good start, even after the Dodgers kind of jumped off to the hottest start. But, I mean, 13-5 for the Giants. I mean, even though they don't have Chris Bryant anymore, they still have some great talent at a team. And I'll say dark horse signing was Carlos Rodon. He's having a fantastic start to the season now in San Francisco. I hate to say that I wish he was with the Sox, but I mean, good for him for just kind of keeping that production that he had last year going out in San Francisco.
Yeah, completely agreeing. Carlos Rodon has been a great pickup to replace Kevin Gossman in that rotation. And same with me being a Mets fan. I wanted them to sign Rodon, and he's a left-hander. He strikes out a lot of batters. He's a good pitcher, so hopefully he can stay healthy and keep that kind of production going for the Giants, and will have a fantastic race in the National League West. I was just checking in on Fernando Tatis's injury situation, and it looks like he could miss up to 3 months, which is about 60 to 65 games. So that's unfortunate, but if the Padres can hold on, then that's a big boost in the middle of July. So it's basically like making a trade at the deadline to add a all-star shortstop or right fielder to your lineup. So we'll see what happens. And
yeah, absolutely.
Moving on to our last recap series, the Milwaukee Brewers took on the Philadelphia Phillies. The Brewers took 2 out of 3. I had the Phillies. Adam had the Brewers. So you can see a trend here that I have picked very poorly. Adam has picked very well. I'll let you decide if Adam's notes are accurate or not, or if you want to go back and listen to the show and hear that I actually picked the Dodgers while Adam picked the Padres and I picked the Blue Jays. I'm just kidding. I don't think I picked the Blue Jays. I'm pretty sure that one's right. But regardless, Brewers, Phillies. Brewers took 2 out of 3. Adam, what did you see in this series, or what do you think of these two teams?
I think this was a good matchup on paper, and I think the one thing that Milwaukee had was just better pitching, better offense. Andrew McCutchen definitely came up clutch in the last game of the series. I think that's a good signing for Milwaukee. Going forward, they lost the first game 4-2, came back to win 5-3, and then a 1-0 shutout in the final game. Milwaukee's a good team. Looking at the standings, they're sitting already at the top of the NL Central, 11-7. Their run differential's even, which doesn't say a lot, but they're 7-3 in their last 10. They're a half a game up against St. Louis. They're already 7.5 games above Cincinnati, who have only won 3 games. Cincinnati's 3-14 right now, so they're on track to battle Baltimore for the worst record in Major League Baseball.
They are. Baltimore has double the amount of wins.
This is true.
Which is ridiculous. That I was going to bring that up when we were talking about the American League East and Boston only having one more win than Baltimore, which is just hilarious. But I'm sure it'll shift around. We talked about that American League East being one of the best divisions in baseball, along with the National League West at the beginning of the year. So I think Boston, kind of gets better down the line, hopefully. But we shall see. As far as the Phillies are concerned, they are in 4th in the National League East, only 2 games under 500. They have started to play much better lately. 5-10 in their last 10, 2-game winning streak, +2 run differential overall. Expected win-loss is 9-9, so they are underperforming slightly, but just barely by a game. Not that big of a deal when it comes down to it. So some great baseball we had over the last weekend. Yeah. I hope you all
I mean,
enjoyed it.
it was a good weekend for baseball, and again, we're just getting started. We're almost through the first month of the season. May begins on Sunday, so we're almost already through the first month of the season, if you can believe that.
I can believe that, Adam, because it started on the 7th.
This
So
is true.
it's only really 3 weeks, but that's okay. We're having a lot of fun, catching a lot of baseball. My fantasy baseball team is trash because I don't really understand how to fucking do this. And I hate lineup changes constantly. Guys are out when they should be playing, and whatever. It is what it is. Managers got to get guys at bats, and they got to get people on the field and get guys rest. So onward and upward to the next big announcement. As we talked about last week, we were hoping it happened on the show. Adam, what historic event happened just this week?
Well, again, we're hoping it would happen live last week as we were recording, but Miguel Cabrera becomes the 7th player in MLB history to reach the 500 club and the 3,000 hit club. So congratulations to Miguel Cabrera for reaching 3,000 hits. Absolutely, a round of applause. Gets it on a single versus Colorado, and he obviously, after he gets to 3,000 hits, the game stop. He gets a standing ovation from both sides of the benches, Colorado, Detroit. You see a couple of players from the Rockies come over and congratulate him. The fans are giving him a standing ovation. The hit counter on left field turns to 3,000. And this kind of cements his ticket to the Hall of Fame by joining this club. I mean, he was already guaranteed, in my opinion, at least, to be in the Hall of Fame. But he now joins Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Eddie Murphy, Rafael Palmeiro, Alex Rodriguez, and Albert Pujols as 7 players who have hit 500 home runs and 3,000 hits. That's an exclusive club. There's a lot of good names on there. Majority of the list is in the Hall of Fame, the only 2 being Palmeiro and Rodriguez, and Pujols, who is still the one of 2 active players on that list right now.
I think he did something else, in 2012 that was one of my favorite accomplishments.
Triple Crown?
Yeah. Triple Crown in baseball is very difficult to do. While the 3,000 hits and 500 home run club is actually more exclusive, the recency of the Triple Crown by Miguel Cabrera is absolutely insane. Can you, Adam, and folks at home, this dude is going to know it, name the last player to win the Triple Crown and when they did it?
Last player in American League or National League?
Just last player overall. If you want to make it harder on yourself.
Well, I know that Dick Allen, when he played for the White Sox in 1972, won the American League Triple Crown. But I know there was a couple other players who won it prior to that. But I know that's the first thing that comes to mind.
I do not have Dick Allen on the list. Are you sure about that, friend?
Oh no, sorry. AL batting. Sorry, my mistake. AL batting champion, 1972. I am drawing a blank on this one, Chris. I'll let you know. I am drawing a blank on the last Triple Crown winner.
Totally good. It was 45 years ago, so it was before both
Jesus.
of our time. It was 1967, and Carl Yastrzemski won the Triple Crown for Boston. He actually tied home runs, which is, it's whatever.
They'll still give it to him.
Right. So there are only 14 Triple Crown winners ever. So I think that club is pretty cool. But the fact that it's been 45, that there was 45 years in between Cabrera and Yastrzemski doing it. So it's actually more than that. It was actually 55 years ago from now, but it was 45 years in between the 2 Triple Crown winners is pretty incredible. Miggy did it with a .330 batting average, 44 home runs, and 139 RBIs. There are only 2 players to do it twice. and they were both back-to-back. Rogers Hornsby in 1920. Nope, sorry. It was not back-to-back years, but they were back-to-back triple. Anyway, fuck it, whatever. Rogers Hornsby did it in 1922 and 1925. Ted Williams did it in 1942 and 1947. So they were the closest to each other. They did not do it in back-to-back seasons. But anyway, this doesn't happen anymore, is my point. So congrats to Miggy. Obviously, he is a. I mean, you should probably just put him in the Hall now. Like, don't even wait the 5 years. Just like be like, all right, cool. You want to be like in the Hall of Fame, like right now. And Miggy should just be like, yeah.
So my question for you then, when that call comes, does he go in wearing a Marlins cap or a Tigers cap?
He's a Tiger, in my opinion. I mean, I know he started with the Marlins, but like, man, they cannot give teams that just give away talent like the Miami, Florida Marlins do, and then give them Triple Crown winners and Hall of Famers. They don't deserve it.
So I agree. I think he goes in with a Tiger cap, but I know there have been instances where the Hall of Fame has said, we want you to go in with this cap. We're going to put this cap on your plaque. He could also go in with no logo on his cap. I know there's a couple players who don't have a logo on their cap on their Hall of Fame plaque. So
really, that is fascinating. I thought so two things, maybe think two things. Number one is he should get to choose. And
absolutely,
two,
I agree.
Like, why should the major league like force him to do it? Force him to wear anything, but whatever.
So I say he goes to a Tiger cap. He only spent 4 years in Florida, and obviously the big achievement in Florida was his rookie year. He won the World Series, and cool thing, I actually got to see Cabrera play when he was with the Kane County Cougars, who were at the time the single-A affiliate of the Florida Marlins. So they used to play in a small minor league stadium about 10-15 about 20 minutes away from where I used to live. We would go to a bunch of Cougar games, so I got to see him play. Dontre Willis played. So I got to see a lot of the Marlins players play on that team before they got to the big leagues. But then when he got to Detroit, you're talking two-time AL MVP, Triple Crown winner, two-time Hank Aaron Award, four-time AL Batting Champion Award, seven-time Silver Slugger Award, multiple All-Star appearances. So, yeah, I would give him a Tiger cap going into the Hall of Fame.
100%. I think he is a Tiger, and I don't like the Marlins, so whatever. But yeah, no. It's like the first Kane County something 3,000 hit player or something, or like I can't remember.
I think he's one. I think he is. I think the first Cougar to reach that milestone. I know that the Cougars have produced a lot of World Series championship players, whether they be for the Marlins or for different players, because they have jumped affiliates. They used to be with the Orioles, the Marlins, the Cubs, the Diamondbacks, Athletics. They've jumped around, I think, from 6 different affiliates at one time, and now they play in an independent league. They're no longer part of the Midwest league. That league kind of dissolved when Major League Baseball slimmed down their minor league system, so now they're just an independent team.
Interesting. Well, producing all kinds of talent out there. So yeah, congrats to Miguel Cabrera. Can't think of a more deserving guy. Adam, what new City Connect jersey has been released?
All right, so the Kansas City Royals have released their Fountains of Rain City Connect jersey. So if you don't know, Kansas City is known as the City of Fountains. You see this in Kauffman Stadium, where they got the fountains out in right and left field. Anytime a Royal player hits a home run, they shoot up the fountains in celebration. So they've introduced a all-navy Connect jersey, along with a new cap that has a KC logo with a fountain effect on the left side of the jersey, player number, and a baby blue on the right side. I think it's absolutely beautiful jersey. It's simple. It's not overbearing. It's just a jersey, so they'll wear normal home pants when they wear the jersey on the field. So it's not like an all Navy uniform. It's just a Navy jersey. The Navy jersey brings back nods to past Kansas City professional teams, you're talking the Kansas City Packers, who were part of the Federal League, the Kansas City Monarchs, who were part of Negro Leagues, the Kansas City Athletics. So when the Athletics moved from Philadelphia to Kansas City, they were Red and Navy. So they're playing now to 3 former franchises in Kansas City. The triple piping on the sleeve pays nod to the 1985 World Championship. You have the Hey 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 on the collar of the jersey, which, if you're a Beatles fan, the Beatles released a song back in '64 called Kansas City Hey Hey Hey, which is played after every Royals home win. I mean, and then you got the fountains on the jock tag. I mean, it's a simple, clean jersey. I mean, if anyone on our viewers remembers the Beatles or listens to the Beatles, like my dad does, who thinks that's the only band alive right now.
Are they? They're not. They're what? Okay.
No, but 2 of the members are still living. I actually share a birthday with Ringo Starr, which is a fun fact.
That is a fun fact.
I overall, this is a good jersey. I think it fits the Kansas City theme. We weren't sure what Kansas City was going to do when they announced that they're going to be part of the City Connect jersey because, I mean, they could have played to the 85 Royals, but I think playing to the Fountains of Kansas City, playing to the Fountains at Kauffman Stadium, which is an absolutely gorgeous stadium. It's one of my stadiums I would love to get to. I think it's a good jersey overall. What are your thoughts, Chris?
I've been to Kauffman. I think it's pretty dope. I think they could have thrown some barbecue in here, though, man. Kansas City is known for its barbecue, and you could have, or like Top Gun. Like, there's a barbecue restaurant that Top Gun was filmed at in Kansas City.
I did not know that.
So that's a couple things that that might not be something that people know about. I did not know Kansas City was known for fountains outside of Kauffman. I didn't know like it was like city of fountains. That's news to me, so that's kind of cool. Brings the city of Kansas City alive more, and that's pretty cool. So yeah, it's fine. I don't know. I'm not like jumping to buy one, but the hat's pretty cool. It's got like a Kansas. It's got the KC in like 3 white bars as opposed to like the block lettering, and then they kind of rain down like fountains down into like a V below the KC. It looks really slick. Go online, check it out. I like it. I mean, it's fine. It looks good. I think my favorite one. It's going to be very hard to beat the Southside Chicago one, and the Houston jersey did a really good job. I like that one a lot. I like the Miami one. I looked at a few different polls after we talked about this, and the Boston one, even though I don't love it, is one of people's favorites. And I've seen some different pictures of it now, and it's cool. I mean, it's fine. The homage to the Boston Marathon is really neat, but yeah, when are they going to debut these jerseys?
These jerseys were going to debut this Saturday versus the Yankees. So they'll make their on-field debut on Saturday versus the Yankees. So if you're a Royals fan, definitely tune into that game if you want to see these jerseys being used. Also head over to Fanatics. You can find any of our City Connect gear at Fanatics. You can click the link in our link tree at our Twitter profile. Small plug.
Small, but effective.
Yes.
Well, Adam, this next news piece, I will let you talk about because I did not see this highlight or anything, but it sounds super interesting. Just reading the notes here about the amount of skirmishes that we're having in baseball, starting with somebody not in the major leagues. Adam, tell us about this.
So we're going to go to a little junior college baseball, and I know the NFL draft is coming up, so I don't know if the player we're going to talk about is gearing up for the NFL draft. But In a game versus North Central College and Weatherford College, Josh Phillips of North Central College gave up a go-ahead home run. Josh Phillips hit a go-ahead home run off pitcher Owen Woodward of Weatherford. As they're running second, I think there were some altercations, like either the runner was taunting the pitcher or something like that. But as he's getting around third, you see the pitcher throws glove on the ground, and he absolutely tackles Phillips right next to the third base coach. And after that, pretty much all hell breaks loose. The bench is clear, the bullpen's clear, and there's a fight going on around the third base on the field. They get everything clear. Phillips gets back up. I mean, he's obviously, I think his jersey got ripped off. He walks to home, and you're seeing it for the first time. I mean, clean.
He blasts this dude. Like,
if I was an NFL scout,
flying off of the mound and levels this dude coming around third. And his teammates don't exactly back him up very well.
No, but if I was an NFL scout, I'd say, okay, pretty clean tackle. I mean, shoulder was low a little, so it could have been marked as a illegal hit if you're some referees in the NFL. So I don't know the exact ramifications that came from this, but the game was suspended. The umpire suspended the game, but I do know that the team's suspensions were handed out on both sides, both the coaches, assistant coaches, players that came off the bench, came from the bullpen that were involved were suspended. The two players that were initially involved were suspended. There's an ongoing investigation into the pitchers act in this. And Chris, you've seen the video. I mean, what the hell, right?
Yeah, what the hell? Yeah, that's show some sportsmanship. Just because you gave a home run, like, throw a ball at the next batter or whatever, dude. Like, keep it within the game. You don't need to like turn it into the NFL. I mean, it was a tackle. And the interesting thing is the guy, like the batter who's rounding third, tried to take the hit on, but the guy ran like straight through him. So it was a good form tackle. Lights him up, but yeah, dude, not okay. Like, it's just I don't know what you're thinking. It's almost like the funnier thing, and I love bringing this up, especially with you, Adam. Is if he would have like grabbed the dude in the headlock and gave him the old Nolan Ryan and just beat him in the head. When Robin Ventura tried to attack the old man, he got him in the headlock and was WWE punching him in the face. Yeah, but no, the poor kid that hit the home run just got leveled. But his whole team came to his side very, very quickly, while the pitcher's teammates kind of just watched in shock and awe.
And the pitcher is not even that big. He's 6'3", 160 pounds. So I mean, he's a tall, skinny kid too, who could play linebacker for a college team if he decided to.
Probably safety. He's pretty skinny. Yeah. Pretty skinny. He'd have to put on 30 pounds just to even play safety. Goodness.
Yeah.
Maybe 40. Well, that was the appetizer for all of the other shenanigans that have been going on. Let's talk about the Yankees incident first, because that happened chronologically before the other incident that happened today, correct?
Yeah, so just again, if you want to talk about teams getting into fights, we see all the time, but anytime you're seeing fans picking fights with players, that kind of crosses the line for me. So what happened was this past series in New York, incident where fans were throwing trash on the field started with Stephen Kahn of the Guardians, who went for a fly ball to left field, hit the chain link fence on left field pretty hard. Obviously a little dazed and confused by it. Actually went on concussion protocol after this game. As he's getting checked out by his staff, you have Miles Straw come over and he starts exchanging words with fans in the stands. Like, he actually climbed the wall and actually started pointing at fans in the stands. Some pretty heated words of altercations. If you listen to what he says, fans were throwing some profanity at Kahn, who's actually injured on the play, and obviously is getting checked out by the medical staff. So that kind of he settles down. Then Torres hits a game-winning single. After that, you start seeing fans throwing beer cans, trash on the field. I mean, after the ball splits the gap in the outfield, you're seeing beer cans thrown on the field. And obviously, you have Shaw, who's in the middle of it. He's out there talking to fans. You have Guardian players out there yelling at the fans, telling them to stop. At one point, you have both Yankee players and Guardian players out in the field. The first Yankees see go out there are Anthony Rizzo, Judge, Stan are running out to the outfield to try to get the fans to stop throwing trash on the field. It's just an awful, disgusting incident in New York. I mean, Yankee fans, I understand you're passionate, understand that you love the team, but you got to have some fucking common sense when it comes to just disrespecting the game and throwing trash on the field. It makes the fan base look bad. It gives the fan base a bad name, and there's obviously going to be some consequences for fans who were throwing trash on the field because they actually have good video footage of fans throwing trash on the field, and we've seen in the past if fans are disrupting the game, throwing stuff on the field, or causing any harm to players, they can get tossed from the stadium and probably get some lifetime bans from Yankee Stadium. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Yankee fans get permanently banned from Yankee Stadium, which they absolutely should. I'm sorry. You disrespect the game like that, you should get completely tossed from going to games anymore. And that's just my rant, Yankees. I mean, Yankee fans, you got to be fucking better. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this has happened multiple times now. I mean, this goes back to the 04 series with the Red Sox when they're throwing beer bottles at players, and this is why glass beer bottles aren't at sporting events, because jokers that decide to go to a sporting event get hammered and throw weapons essentially at players is just not called for. And I could throw a lot of stones at a lot of fan bases or whatever, but we'll leave it to just this game. Be better. Yankee fans, like, this is not the way to interact with the guys who are entertainment for you. And here's the funny part: you won the damn game, and yet you want to throw trash at the opponents because you're a child. You're childish and immature and probably inebriated, and you need to check yourself. And there's a decent chance your kid's sitting next to you and you're acting like a jackass, or there is a child next to you and you're acting like a jackass. Baseball is a family sport, family event. The ballpark is supposed to be a safe place for people to go and have a good time, not get shit thrown on them. There's people throwing stuff from 15 to 20 rows up the stadium. People down below them are getting just drenched in beer or soda. I guess you could be throwing soda. I won't judge that hard, but
I'm judging. It was definitely beer. And
yeah, ban them, New York. You got the harshest mayor in the whole fucking world. Just ban everybody, dude.
I mean,
they like probably aren't vaccinated.
That's a whole nother can of worms that we would not like. We'll probably open. And I'll say one thing: I get taunting players, yelling at players, like trying to get in their heads. Yeah, that's fine. You can yell at a player, tell them they're not doing well. Tell them why'd you swing at a pitch outside the zone, or why'd you judge that ball wrong? However you want to try to get in the players' heads, that's fine. But the minute you throw trash on the field or you put the players' health and safety in danger, that is crossing the line. The minute you take an object from the stands and you throw it onto the field of play, you cross the line, and that's something that should never happen. You see it happen at football. You see courtside seats at the NBA where fans are running on the field. I remember the Malice in the Palace back in the early 2000s where Ron Artest went into the stands to fight a fan who threw a beer cup at him.
Meta World Peace?
If that's what it goes by, yes.
And that is that the guy that changed his name? Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, the other one was more recent, was the woman at the Timberwolves game
I did see that where she tried to run that field. Thank God for that security guard.
The security guard was
said,
stalking
no.
her and like got her right before she even like stepped foot on the actual court. She got to out of bounds and then he blasted her. And the funny thing is, like, production crews of the TV stations that are producing these games do a very good job of not showing that stuff. And I think it's just not to promote that, but like that one was blatant, wide open. You saw it from start to finish. It was pretty hilarious. If you haven't seen the clip of the woman at the Timberwolves game running onto the court, go check that out. But that's another weird one. That's all about protesting the owners, I guess, animal cruelty or something different. That's completely different than what we're talking about. But the next event involves another New York team. The New York Mets and St. Louis Cardinals have had a few hit by pitches over the last 3 games. St. Louis lost a tough game 2 nights ago when Nolan Arenado made an error on the last out of the game. So 2 outs gone. At that time, the Cardinals are up 2-0. Mets come back and win that game 5-2 with just 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Cardinals can't come back in the bottom of the 9th. So tough loss. And then there's hit by pitches the next night. And then it ends with Pete Alonso getting hit in the helmet with a ball that Cardinals fans are saying that it was unintentional. The count was 0-2. They were throwing a changeup. Whatever. That's horseshit. You hit a guy in the head. You're a professional baseball player, professional pitcher. You probably let it slip. But that's regardless. The Mets lead the league in getting hit by pitches. Funny enough, the Cardinals are not that far behind them at number 6, so maybe people just don't like either team and they're just beating them. So then today, during the day game, the Mets are down 10-5 and decided to throw a high and tight fastball at or towards Nolan Arenado. It really wasn't that close of a pitch, if you ask me. But Arenado took offense to it, started yelling at the pitcher, Yohan Diaz, and tempers flared, fight ensues, and the Phillies, it should be, Anyway, the Cardinals hitting coach, Tubby Chubby Johnson, or whatever the fuck his name is, decides to throw Pete Alonso to the ground. So I take offense to this. I'm fucking pissed at the Cardinals. I've hated the Cardinals since 2006. When they beat the Mets in the NLCS. It was one of the best NLCSs in my memory. But this rivalry is on now. You have Mad Max Scherzer, who was pissed off, yelling at the Cardinals the whole time. Before any like actual fight happened. You got Pete Alonso, who was pretty heated about getting hit in the head with the ball, and now you got the fucking pitching coach wrestling Alonso to the ground when no other like punches were thrown. A lot of pushing and chest bumping, as you often see in baseball fights. But this fucking guy decides to throw an all-star back-to-back home run derby champion on the ground, and I'm not happy about it. So I'm gonna look at when they are gonna fucking beat them in the head the next time. So they play again in May, middle of May, and it's a 4-game series. I guarantee Max Scherzer throws at somebody in that game. Look out, Cardinals fans. There's one of you out there, Adam Raymer. I love you, buddy, but fuck that shit. So rant over.
So rants are over. I will chime in on the brawl that escalated. The game was in St. Louis, correct?
Yes.
So I saw the play, and I showed my wife the brawl, and she asked it him. I go, no, it buzzed the tower. It's like, why the fuck's he complaining? It didn't hit him. Arenado's pissed. He's known for getting uptight when balls get thrown close to his body. I mean, you said they play again in May, right? Mm-hmm. I would not be surprised if in the first game of the first series of that series in New York, in Queens, in front of a rowdy, probably drunk Mets fans. The first Cardinal players thrown at, and warnings are thrown, or I'll do one better. The
Pre-game warnings.
Pre-game warnings would be something, but the first player that gets thrown at, the pitcher gets tossed immediately.
Probably.
Yep. Umpire says, "Fuck this shit, you're out."
Right.
And then warns the benches.
Right. So Buck Showalter after the game was asked if Arenado overreacted, and he said, "Well, our guy got hit in the head the last time, and he just ran to first base." So, I mean, Buck didn't say it in so many words, but he's basically saying, "Yeah, Arenado grossly overreacted to getting thrown. Like, it wasn't even that close to him."
Yeah, I mean, it did come at his head, but it was nowhere near the point to where it was going to hit him. It was still, it kind of was like, I would say about maybe 2 feet away from his head, a good 2 feet away from his head. It wasn't intentional. The ball probably just got thrown.
Oh, it's 100% intentional. 100%
Oh, you think it was intentional?
Okay, absolutely. So. Yeah, but that's how you throw high and tight and warn people, like, look, I have a weapon in my hand and I can use it.
This is true. Baseball is a weapon when you're a pitcher. It is a very fast weapon.
I mean, you throw it 95 miles an hour, and, because guys can't bury it in another guy's ribs anymore because they'll get thrown out of games, like you mentioned, a high and tight fastball that, got away from me. Like I said, these guys are professional baseball players. Many of those pitches don't get away from them. It's not often. If they hit somebody, it's in the foot that happened today, or in the back, in the butt or in the back. Man, shit, I think 3 Mets got hit before this even happened. Like Marte got hit. Or maybe that was a Cardinals player. Anyway, both teams got hit before this even popped off. So these two teams are going to be in it. The man, I always forget his damn name. The Cardinals' new manager.
Oh yeah, I can't.
He just looked like a grumpy Gus. He didn't really. He didn't really say anything or do anything, but he looked like he was pretty pissed. Oliver Marmol.
There it is. Yeah,
he had an angry, grumpy face, but Max Scherzer was definitely yelling back at the Cardinals bench. So it's only April, but that was pretty fun. So the Cardinals are in second in the National League Central with a 10-7 record, half game back of the Brewers, plus 18 run differential, 11-6 expected win-loss record, so just slightly underperforming. The New York Metropolitans are 14-6, leading the NL East above none other than the Miami Marlins, who have a fantastic pitching staff, by the way. Game and a half up on them. They have a plus 33 run differential. Expected win-loss is 14-6, so they are performing exactly as expected. They have a series coming up starting on Friday. They have tomorrow off, so starting on Friday, they will play the Philadelphia Phillies, and we will talk about that series right now, unless Adam has anything else he would like to add to all of the shenanigans from the weekend or the whatever.
I mean, I did my soapbox. My soapbox has been kicked away from my seat right now.
Alrighty. Well, let's get into this Phillies-Mets matchup since it's a good segue into it. The Phillies, like I mentioned, are playing much better than they were at the beginning of the season. So on Friday, you have Aaron Nola versus Tylor Megill of the Mets. Both pitchers are in the top half of the league in expected on-base average, which is a fantastic metric for judging pitchers and potential outcome of the game. And then both teams are also top 11 against right-handed pitchers, which both of these guys are, in weighted runs created. So we have an absolutely fantastic matchup coming in game 1 on Friday. Game 2 features Gibson versus Walker. Gibson has a much better expected expected on base average than Taijuan Walker. And obviously, both teams are hitting very well against right-handers. So I would say the Phillies have an upper hand in game 2. Same thing, game 3 is kind of a mirror of game 1. Zach Eflin versus Chris Bassett. Both guys are in the top half of the league in expected on base average. Both teams hitting right-handers well. Eflin, I think, is pitching a little bit out of his pay grade right now. Chris Bassett is having a phenomenal start to the year, has struck out 6 in every outing so far. So I would give the edge to the Mets in the game 3. Adam, how do you see this series? So I officially have Mets 2-1. They win on Friday and Sunday.
I just wrote that down, so we have an official record.
I see it. We have the other one too. We could go back and look at it. It's not like these Google Docs disappear. But we'll just leave it up to mystery, or let you guys go find out by listening to the podcast and liking and subscribing and all of that fun stuff.
Adam. So this series, when we put it on, I kept thinking back and forth. I think this is a good series overall for both teams. New York is obviously playing up to what everyone thought they're going to play up to. I'll go with you. Mets 2-1, but I think the Mets lose the first game and come back to take the series. So I have the Mets.
Go ahead. Yep.
Mets lose Friday, but they come back and take the Saturday and Sunday games. Only reason I say that is because the Friday game, I give the edge to Nola, with both pitchers being the top half of on base or OBA for both teams against our top 11 against right-handed pitchers, plus WAR. I'll still give the edge to Philadelphia in game 1 on Friday.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a good matchup. McGill's having a pretty solid start to his season. With I think he's 3-0. Mets starting pitchers are like top 2 or 3 in ERA. But Aaron Nola's a good pitcher. So I have no issues with that. I'm just concerned Taijuan Walker on Friday or Saturday. He's like, I don't know. He's just so hit or miss. He was phenomenal at the beginning of the year last year and then just fell off the table after the All-Star break. But the Mets took the first series 2-1 is what I meant to say. So, yeah. The next series we'll talk about is Adams White Sox are taking on the Los Angeles Angels in Chicago, correct?
Yeah, so that game will be in Chicago. This is going to be in the tail end of Chicago's home stretch. Let me just look that up real quick because they're currently playing the Royals at home. And then, yeah, they face LA. It's a 4-game series. It is a 4-game series because they'll play a Monday game too. So
we don't talk about Monday.
No, Monday is going to be a blur.
Like we don't talk about Bruno.
Exactly. So this series is interesting. I'm going a series split. I think the series will go 2-2 with the Angels and White Sox. I think the Sox will take the first game. I think the Angels will take the last game 2 and 3, and I think the Sox come back to take game 4. Reason I say this is because I look at the pitching matchup that Chicago's throwing out there. They got Vasquez and Keuchel for games 2 and 3. They have struggled. Keuchel has struggled the last couple games. He had a horrible outing against Kansas City. He's not the same pitcher that he was back in 2019, 2020. He doesn't have his fastball command anymore. It's down a couple miles. His control overall has been up and down. So I'm going a series split with the White Sox and Angels. But White Sox fans, there is good news on the horizon. Yohan Moncada has been cleared to start his rehab assignment with Charlotte. on Friday, so he'll begin his rehab assignment on Friday with Charlotte. And also Joe Kelly has started his rehab assignment as well. So we are starting to get players back. Obviously, Rivera and Jimenez are out dealing with minor injuries right now, so we'll get them back probably middle of May. So, again, not pressing the panic button in Chicago. They kind of played this last year. They got to a slow start, had some trouble getting over 500. But once they got over 500, they never let up. And then once they got into the driver's seat of the AL Central, they never let it go. I'm going series split 2-2.
Well, I didn't know that this was a 4-game set because the notes don't tell me that. So I only have notes for the first 3 games, but the Los Angeles Angels are playing phenomenal baseball right now, and the pitchers that they have going out there, at least on Friday and Sunday, are, well, so on Friday, it's Noah Syndergaard versus Lucas Giolito for the Sox. Both pitchers, upper half of the expected on-base average. However, the Angels are hitting right-handed pitching very well. They're top 5 in the league in weighted runs created. This metric leads to a lot of wins. Chicago White Sox, unfortunately, are bottom 3 currently. Over the last couple weeks in weighted runs created against the right-handed pitching. Noah Syndergaard, who is in the 83rd percentile, having a good start to his year. So I think the Angels take the Friday game. Game 2, the Angels are throwing out Suarez, who is in the 9th. Yes, that is bottom 10% of the league in expected on-base average. So he gives up a lot of hits and walks a lot of folks. And then Velasquez not starting well either. He is unfortunately even worse. 4th percentile in expected on-base average. And then, of course, you still have the Angels hitting right-handed pitching well. The Chicago White Sox do not hit left-handed pitching well. So the Angels have the upper hand there, but good God, that game could go either way. God, I have no idea. Maybe the Sox take that one in a weird squeaker. Maybe Velasquez can find his shit because 4th percentile is just god awful and he shouldn't be that bad, right?
Yeah.
So game 3 is Lorenzen versus Keuchel, like Adam mentioned. 54th percentile for Lorenzen, 47th percentile for Dallas Keuchel. I think the Angels take this game as I mean, honestly, they could win the first 3 games. I have no idea who the 4th pitchers are. I will find the probable pitchers right quick. Where's my tab? Son of a bitch. I don't have the tab open anymore, Adam. Please hold.
Holding.
So yeah, I think the Angels probably take I mean, if it's not a 3-4 Angels, it's a split, but I think the Angels win 3 out of 4 in this one. I'm surprised at how good they are. I wish I would have. Well, I have a $10 free bet on them. Maybe I'll throw another one on there. But the Angels are playing really good baseball, and the Monday starter, if I can spell faster, is Patrick Sandoval for the Angels, listed as starting pitcher 54 on Fantasy Pros. I know that's not the most accurate of indicators, but it'll give you a decent little sneak peek against Dylan Cease, who's pitcher 29 for the White Sox. So the White Sox could easily take the Monday game. So yeah, Angels win the first 3. White Sox avoid the sweeping, win the Monday game. That's my awesome predictions there.
All right.
And rounding out our connections to the game this weekend, the Astros and Blue Jays apparently are just playing every weekend, so they're going to do it again this weekend. Adam, why don't you break this series down for the folks?
All right, so game one, you got Uruguay for Houston, who's in the 8th percentile, versus Kikuchi for Toronto's in the 19th percentile. Houston is 20th in runs against war against left-handers. Toronto is 9th versus right-handed pitching. I'll give game one to Toronto. I'm actually going to go Toronto sweeping this one. I'll just say right off the bat, I'll give Toronto the broom against the Astros. Game two, you got Garcia, who's in the 69th percentile, versus Berrios, who's in the 6th percentile. Houston is 18th versus right-handed pitching. Toronto, again, 9th versus right-handed pitching. Game three, you got Valdez, who's in the 65th percentile, versus Guzman, who's in the 66th, so not really a difference there. I'm going Toronto just because the way that they can hit pitching from both sides of the pitching mound. That lineup is nasty. They're young. They got some good power in that lineup. I'll give Toronto the sweep. I'm just gonna go ahead and bring out the brooms, Chris.
Yeah, I think it's possible, but I think the Blue Jays probably win this one 2-1. It's kind of the biggest shocker to me was Jose Berrios starting out pretty shitty this season, being in the 6th percentile of expected on base average. He's a much better pitcher than that. And then Framber Valdez, left-hander for Houston, I think should be, he's still in the 65th percentile, so he's still playing okay. Urquidy in game one being bottom, 10 versus Kikuchi, who's, I don't know. I thought he was better than this as well, but he hasn't been fantastic. So I think game one could literally go either way. So I think Toronto takes a 2-1 series victory, but Houston avoids the sweep.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Houston does sneak out one game. If I had to pick one game, I would say, what do you think? Game 2 or 3, you think Houston can sneak out a win?
It's probably game 1 that they sneak out a win. Kikuchi's not good. I don't think he's very good.
It's going to be a good. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Any of these games are going to be blown out. I think these games will be close for all three. But yeah, if I had to give one win, I'll go with you. I'll give game one a win to Houston. But again, I think it's going to be Toronto sweep. The Blue Jays are just really good this year. I think they finally get over that hump, and sweep of Houston is just going to be icing on the cake for them.
We shall see, my friend. We shall see. Adam will be back to lie to you all next week about what we picked. And actually, I'm just gonna go check because I think you're full of shit.
So while Chris looks up to see if my memory was correct, any other things going forward, Chris, with games this weekend? Anything that sticks out to you that was not mentioned
for this weekend? I don't think so. There was another game. There was another series that I saw that I thought was intriguing. Give me 1 second. Yeah, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, I think is going to be another good series this weekend. So I had the Tampa Bay Rays sweeping. You had them 2-1. So you're full of shit there. I did have the Astros. You had the Blue Jays. We both had the Dodgers, and I did have the Phillies. So you only had one wrong. That's fine. Whatever.
I would say last week I pulled up a couple of late nighters with school, so sleep was kind of optional this past week.
Good stuff, man. So yeah, that Minnesota Tampa Bay series. Tampa Bay is, top 10 in power rankings. Minnesota is close to top half of the league. Improving. Brian Buxton's hitting the absolute snot out of the ball. So if you are tuning into the baseball this weekend, that's another series you can check out. Seattle, Miami also play. So that's a decent series as well. Nothing else too exciting. The Dodgers play the Tigers. They'll beat the brakes off of them. Yeah, nothing great. I can't see, man. Colorado's starting to fall apart, but they play Cincinnati, who's also shit. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Head on over to Fanatics, get your City Connect gears, get your Mother's Day gear for your mom. You know, she likes baseball too. Hit us up on Twitter, drop some comments in the YouTube or Facebook page, and we look forward to talking to you next week.
Have a good night, everyone.